So, hello and welcome to the New Gig podcast. I'm your host, Glenn Hodgson, and today I'm delighted to be joined by graphic designer and part-time freelancer, Nina Lamberi. How are you doing, Nina?
I'm doing great, Glenn. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Now, the big thing that we always think about in here is sort of, how do we get to the situation we are today? So it would be great for you, given your sort of specific position now, to give us a little bit of an insight into your journey, a little bit of the background, and the way in which you've sort of set up this portfolio professional lifestyle for yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my journey into graphic design is, I would say, quite a long one. It started actually as a hobby when I was 15, and me and my best friend, we were huge Britney Spears fans. So we ended up creating, I know, so we ended up creating a website, a fan website for her.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was super into designing wallpapers and banners because at the time that was the huge big thing.
Right.
And yeah, but it was, at the time it was just a hobby and I didn't really think about that much. And years later, I ended up moving abroad. So I moved to Denmark and I ended up studying international branding and marketing.
Yeah.
And from there, I remember we had this elective course, graphic design. And I thought, why not? Let's try it out. And I guess that was kind of like the first moment I felt like, wow, this is thing I'm actually super passionate about. And
Mm.
I I love doing this and I could probably see myself doing this in the future as a career. So after graduating, I moved back home to Estonia, and as any young professional, I was really struggling to find my first real job, and I knew that marketing, I don't know, like I knew that marketing really wasn't thing for me
Mm.
because I felt, this urge to be more creative and to do something else. And yeah, I was lucky to find a job as a graphic designer in a small print house. And I
Yep.
guess that's kind of like how my career started off. And yeah, and here I am, 13 years later. I'm still passionate about what I'm doing and I'm still in the same industry. But
Excellent.
over the years, I felt just working full time for one company wasn't really doing it for me.
Yeah.
And I felt the need to just go and, do something on my own.
Yeah.
And that's how I started off, this like freelancing side gigs on the side. So having a
Brilliant.
full-time job
Yeah.
and, doing freelance like simultaneously. Yeah.
Excellent. So thanks to Brittany for the setting you on this path. And oh my goodness me, who would have thought Britney Spears would be able to inspire people in so
I
many
know.
different, diverse ways?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was also a fan as well, so don't. There's nothing to be ashamed of in that one, Nina. I think that's all fine. But I
No,
also
I'm definitely not ashamed of. Like, hey, still a fan. I still love her music till this day.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe some of the lifestyle choices are a little bit different, but you have to sort of pick and choose what's best. I think from every
Yeah.
situation and every character, so that works out well. But I think it's really interesting that you've sort of got this mix, and I think that what you say there in terms of you if you're passionate about what you do, if you enjoy it, it's not like working. You never work a day in your life, and I think that's an important part of this to sort of find the thing that really engages you, that you're passionate about, and sort of makes you jump out of bed and think, right, I want to do something with this today, as opposed to the kind of traditional mindset that a lot of people get into, that they're doing a job just because they need money. They don't particularly like it, but they're stuck in a situation. It seems to be that you've got yourself this good mix of kind of the stability of of a full-time work, but also the creativity and the interest of the side hustles as well.
I completely agree. And for me, I would say it's kind of finding different outlets for you.
Yeah.
So not just having one full-time job, but trying your hand at something completely new and working with a diverse range of clients and something that you can't really have if you work only for one company, right?
Yeah, exactly. And well, sadly the case. And how have you kind of experienced that? Has there been resistance to you wanting to have a more sort of open, diverse, and portfolio approach to your work? Uh, has it been any pushback that no, you have to work for one employer, sell your time and your hours to one place, 9 to 5, 5 days a week?
I would have to say that, having a portfolio career, it's very, I would say it's viable option in today's gig economy. And
Yeah.
I've realized that as a creative person, you need to have this type of like a certain mindset, and you need to have self-discipline, to get into it, and just to have this like continuous growth. And
Yeah.
for me, I would have to say it's sometimes it's been very, very hard, like when it comes to time management, trying trying to hustle, and juggle both things at the same time, 9 to 5, and having these side projects on as an extra.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's time management, you say, because when you've got several things in the air and on the books at the same time, it's up to you to be able to make sure what you can do, when you can deliver, and make sure that everyone's happy as well.
Absolutely, because you're the person who's responsible, right? You're
Yeah.
kind of selling your own personal brand.
Yes.
Social media, we have so many different like digital platforms these days. You can, you go online and you see all this content being constantly bombarded at you, and
Mm,
it's tough finding that niche. It's, to say like, hey, I'm also unique,
yeah.
that there's something about me as well that yeah, and it's very, very difficult to capture, your potential clients' attention
Yeah.
when it comes to that.
And is that something that's getting more complicated now with digitalization, more channels being used, the need to actually sort of cut through and make a difference, and be recognized and known? Because there's kind of two sides to digitalization and technology, per se. There's the positivity that it's democratizing, it opens everything up, but also it means that there's more people doing it, there's more channels, and it's kind of maybe more difficult to break through.
It's become a lot complex. Like when I overall think about, this digital transformation that we've been going through, like it's been revolutionizing, I would say.
Yeah,
To think a decade back or, longer when I started, and how things have, grown. So many different social media platforms, the constant need that you need to put yourself out there, otherwise you
yeah,
won't find yourself, work or clients.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it's only going to progress. It's only going to get more complex in the future. That's how I see it. And the
Okay.
AI trend coming in. I can't imagine, it's exciting on one side, but I can't imagine where we're going to be in like 5 years.
I can't imagine we're going to be in 5 months at this speed at the moment, actually, Nina. So I
Exactly,
think you're right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And how do you do in terms of utilization of AI tools for the graphic design piece? Are you using Midjourney? Are you using different tools to be able to facilitate you, or you're kind of moving away from that and saying, "Look, I want to do something completely separate"? How is AI operating in terms of your personal experience, but also the broader sector as well?
Um, I'm all for it. I'm definitely a pro
Yeah,
AI, and so far I've been using it almost every day for my
yeah,
work, and it
great.
has only helped me. So I don't have any negative things to say about it. And I always tend to think that, people say, oh, AI has come in, it's going to take our jobs. But the way I see it as a, creative professional, I feel that the only way you're going to, end up losing your job is if you don't go with a trend. If you,
Yes.
you don't try out new things, you don't, learn new skills. And yeah, I find it amazing. I think it's a revolutionary thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just makes my job easier in so many different ways.
Completely. I think there's a lot of people finding that. And I think that, for the naysayers, it's absolutely right. Change is tough, but being obsolete is even tougher. And I think that it's either a case of getting on board, adapting and learning and just playing a little bit with sort of the new products and also tools that are out there. I think that the time has passed where you can just say, "Oh, that's not for me. I can just ignore it." I think that the chance of being left behind is just so real and so quick.
Hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. Um, just as a creative person, you need to be able to adapt. And yeah, I would also say that a very important fact is to have empathy,
Yeah,
especially for a designer, because we tend to think about, the visually, like what's visually appealing to other people, but
yeah,
we tend to forget about, is it user friendly, because we have so many people living out there who have disabilities.
right.
And yeah, there's just so many different aspects to it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so for you, it's a positive, and so maybe allows you more efficiencies, maybe able to do your work better, but also quicker in certain cases.
Yeah, it definitely speeds up my process. And whenever I have projects, it's just, yeah, it's very even hard to put it into words how much it simplifies,
Yeah.
your workload, and even the ideas you have. When first you had to do mock-ups, and now you can think about, oh, I'll just think about how to write a prompt, and then
Yes.
I'll get some kind of, ideas even from, AI using
Yeah.
either Midjourney or Dolly.
Mm. Yeah. That I think that's a really interesting element as well, and that because people sometimes talk about the fact that AI and new technologies more broadly, they can maybe threaten creativity, whereas it seems to me it's more the opposite, that it actually it's a facilitator.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I don't see it as you know, us taking creativity away, and I think it adds to it. It helps us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, yeah, the more the merrier. And now we have we have the AI that, it creates videos for you.
Yeah.
You can use AI for content creation, not just, for visual side of yeah, design. There's
Mm.
so many different things that it can help you with.
Yeah, some of these sort of mock-ups that I've seen in terms of the prompts and what's created, Sora and the rest of it is just quite amazing. And and again, it's just
It's
gone so
insane.
quickly. Yeah, it's amazing quality.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. To
Mm.
to think back, maybe like 5 years ago, I would have never thought that this
Mm.
would be out there.
Yeah.
I thought that I would be doing what I've been doing for years and years. And knowing that, like, is there ever going to be something to speed up my process to help me with this? Like,
Yeah. Well, I
it's
think that
truly yeah, sorry, it's truly an exciting time actually to
it
be
is.
as a creative person at the
Yeah.
moment.
I think to see it like that is I think so much in life is about mindset anyway, Nina. But the fact that you have to be open to these things and think, well, what can this do for me? Can I try and sort of unpick it a little bit and understand it and really tailor it to what I want to do? And I think that sort of open mindset that you have is absolutely crucial. And I think this is something for freelancers more generally, or creatives, as well as sort of traditional office workers, that what worked in the past is not necessarily going to work in the future. And the classic line from the Leopard, Lampedusa's novel, that for everything to stay the same, everything needs to change completely. And I think it's that. So if you want to sort of remain relevant and have a talent and be in whatever sector you want, you need to sort of make the changes that are necessary to be able to adapt. And at the end of the day, it's all about producing great content and creating value for your partners and customers.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely creating value and also having this freedom to explore, uh, doing, trying out new things, and just overall this, creative fulfillment for a graphic designer.
Yeah,
um, to diversify your skills and overall at the end of the day, trying these new tools and going with the times and the trends, you're just going to enrich your portfolio, which is amazing at these times of days, this
yeah.
digital age that we're living in.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you talked a little bit about sort of the online presence, and it's difficult. You always need to be out there. You always need to be sort of finding clients. Can you say a little bit about how you go about that process in terms of marketing yourself, marketing your skills, maybe your case book of projects that you've done, but also finding
Mhm.
new projects, new clients, new initiatives to get involved in?
So I have to be honest, I haven't been the greatest when it comes to social media.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been very lucky because most of my biggest clients are actually the companies where I've either worked at, had a full-time job, or it's been word of mouth or just, regular connections and
The
people have
strongest
heard
marketing you
about
can
me.
do. Yeah, best way.
Exactly. So I haven't at this point, I haven't had the need to actually put myself out there or create any Google ads or, LinkedIn promotions to find myself new clients or business. So I've been very, very lucky when it comes to that. But I,
Yeah,
I truly believe it's crucial in today's digital landscape, how just finding, new potential clients, it's a must. Like you need to put yourself out there, absolutely.
yeah,
But
yeah,
just like I said, it's not even about just showcasing your work anymore. It's it's truly like putting yourself out there, yes, but being unique and kind of tailoring yourself to your um I would say target audience and just show your expertise and how you engage with online communities that are out there
yeah.
for just getting visibility. Yeah.
And how's that working out for you in that sense then? Is that something that you feel a little bit nervous about being forced to do that into the future, be maybe more active, more out there, or is just the understanding it's how you use it is the best way of doing things?
I wouldn't say I feel nervous about it. I would say that it, it can feel a little overwhelming at
Okay.
times.
Yeah.
Because you see what other people are doing, and it's so easy to get this imposter syndrome and feel like maybe I'm not good enough and maybe
Right.
I don't do as much as other people do, or maybe I'm not as communicative as others are. And yeah, it kind of like creates a block in front of you, and you really have to push yourself to get out there, at least for
Mm,
me.
yeah.
But
Well,
it also depends on the person's,
yeah.
personality and,
Mm,
not everybody is extroverted and can easily, put themselves out there
Yeah.
to gain some attention from other people.
Yeah, and I think that they always say that comparison is the thief of joy, and I think with sort of social media
Yeah.
channels, as you say, people can look at that and think, oh, I'm not doing as much as that, or I'm not as good at that, or I should be doing better things. But I think in a small amount, it's useful to be able to see what's out there, but it can actually sort of distract you and maybe sort of second and third guess what you're doing in your own skills, own knowledge, talent, and expertise, which is not such a good thing. But I think that it's interesting what you say. There is a place for everyone. There's a place for extroverts, maybe quieter people. It's not like you have to be
Mm.
one type and using the channels in a specific way. There's more of an openness for everyone to use it in their way that feels comfortable, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And but it's so difficult to not compare yourself when you do
Right.
those things and when you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Especially as a designer, your work is it's your portfolio.
Yeah.
When you put yourself out there, you look at what other designers do, and you can't help but just compare yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
It's
think
normal.
I think what's really good, and what I see from my point of view is when I look back at the work I've done in the past, and when I can look back and give myself constructive, criticism, like feedback, and say, okay, maybe I should have done things differently, and why would I go in that direction? Why did I design it this way?
Yeah.
which which is really, really good. But I can't help but also look at other people's work and think, oh wow, this is so cool. They did it this way. And maybe this is something that I could incorporate in my designs later on. And yeah, there's so many different aspects that you think about when it comes to just creative, graphic design.
Yeah, absolutely. And if for other freelancers, people who want to do side gigs, side hustles who are out there, what's the kind of the good things and the bad things that you would highlight about this kind of way of life, this work style, if you will?
Mhm. With everything, there's always going to be some pros and cons,
Mm,
some negative aspects to it. And obviously, I would like to think about the pros more than the cons.
of course.
Having this like flexibility, this freedom, choosing what kind of projects you want to work on, the environment. I could either work at home, I can go travel, work from the beach if
Yeah,
I want to.
yeah,
And yeah, and, to put the creative fulfillment aside, there's also this type of diversified, income streams that I'm
yeah,
not just reliant on one paycheck, and I know that
definitely.
I have something else on the side, because like in today's economy, you never know. So it's essential to have something else going on for you, not just
Percent.
one full-time job, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I agree. I think it's a great and very advanced way of looking at these things, Nina. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. But as as anything, there's going to be some challenges. And as I mentioned before, it's for me, it's been like the time management, but
yeah,
um also kind of the risk of getting burnt out,
yeah,
especially when you're trying to juggle two, three things at a time, and having multiple clients, because some freelance designers don't know how to handle that,
yeah.
especially when you're used to having one full-time job. It's very difficult. And yeah, I would have to say at the same time, it could also be a lack of stability.
Yeah.
You just having when you have a traditional 9 to 5 job, you have a steady paycheck. But
Yeah.
with these like side gigs, there's always a chance that there might be a dry spell, or so to speak, and
Yes.
you
Mm.
end up having no work at all.
Yeah.
So It all depends on the way, which way you look at it.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a good approach. And what are the tips that you'd give to individuals who want to sort of put this kind of lifestyle together? Is there anything that you should do? It could be in terms of how to do your time management. It could be in terms of marketing, profiling, how you chase after clients. Anything that you think would be particularly useful tips for the viewers and listeners?
I would say if you've had if you've had a thought about starting something, just do it.
Yeah,
Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until next year. Just do it and start now.
yeah,
That's pretty much what I did. I
yeah.
just sat down and I thought to myself, I'm just gonna start with this and see how it goes. And yeah, and don't be afraid of failure. Like it's
Yes.
only gonna help you grow and get you, further in life and career. Even if you have one failed project or a client who, you didn't have a good relationship with, it doesn't mean that all the other ones are going to end up, being the same.
Completely. It's just steps along the
Yeah.
road, and you either win or you learn. I think is a great way of looking at these kind of things. You never lose. You
Yeah.
always gain something out of it in terms of experience, what not to do, how to fine tune maybe your offer or your expertise. You
Mhm.
always learn with every step that you take, and I think that that's an important thing to take on board. And I love the kind of parting shot that don't put it off for tomorrow, next month, or next year. Just get started and adapt along the way. I think that's fantastic advice, Nina. And you say about marketing, but you're on the New Gig podcast now, and I think that this hopefully should be a channel that will lead to different things as well. So really appreciate you
Hopefully.
sharing your thoughts, ideas, and some of the journey so far. And yeah, look forward to having you back on so you can update us on how things are going.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Like this has been kind of for me like stepping out of my comfort zone as well and doing
Good.
something completely new. So either it's a failure or something great. Either way, I learned something from this and I'm truly appreciative and, grateful for you asking me to be in your podcast.
Thank you. Well, Nina, it's been an absolute pleasure. Speak to you soon.
You too. Thank you.